WMC Memphis, WMFS HD2 Bartlett Memphis, part of the Memphis Sports Network with 92.9 FM ESPN, ESPN 790 AM.
Watch the sunrise, new day's dawning, and it's calling you and me, where the mighty Mississippi flows by Memphis, Tennessee. We've got woodlands, fields, and water. Hey, there is no better way. You can find out all about it on Outdoors with Larry Ray. Make some time. Take the family, ask a friend, but don't delay. Listen up and learn about it all. Outdoors with Larry Ray. Listen up and learn about it all. Outdoors with Larry Ray.
Good Saturday morning. Welcome to another edition of the award-winning Outdoors with Larry Ray on ESPN 790. Brought to you proudly by the Tennessee Wildlife Resource Agency, Gaston's White River Resort, and Barton Power Sports. Now, here's your host, Larry Ray.
Hey, good Saturday morning. Welcome back to Outdoors with Larry Ray on ESPN 790 here in Memphis, Tennessee. Rolls our 15th year on the air every Saturday morning for 90 minutes talking outdoors. And you folks know that last Saturday was open mic Saturday. Today we're not taking your calls, but we'll be back in the first Saturday in November. We'll be taking your calls. But I got a special guest now. We've been kind of talking fishing for the most part of the first part of the show with our great friends at Strike King up at Kentucky Lake. But you know, I like to talk shooting. I like to talk inspirational stories on Outdoors with Larry Ray. We have had some top-notch shooters over the year. Michael McPhail. We've had Kim Rohde. We've had Jesse Duff. You mentioned them on this show, and we have had them. Well, we're going to talk to a young man right now that's in the military. He's down at Fort Benning, Georgia. But he also is got a career that I don't really know if he started to do this or not, but he's had a pretty successful career shooting for the USA, shooting a Paralympic. He was also the Athlete of the Year in Shooting News in 2013, and that is Sergeant John Yost. Is that right, John?
Yes, sir.
That's close enough, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Well, my listeners out there, I've posted some of this information. You just got back from Sydney, right? Australia.
That's right.
You've been in. I think you've been overseas. You've been in Uzbekistan or whatever. What is that? You shot over there. You shot in Thailand. You've shot all over the world. Tell my listeners a little bit about your career, John. How you got to do what you're doing right now.
Absolutely. I got injured in 2007. I got rehabilitated back to the Army, and I was doing some running and doing some
Oh, no, hold on now. You got injured. Now, you just can't jump over that, John. I know that that was a life change. Tell our listeners what happened to you.
Well, I was in Iraq in 2007, deployed there for combat, and I was injured in a complicated ambush with an IED, and I lost my lower right leg and had some significant other injuries, but I was able to stay in the Army. I was able to rehabilitate, and I really wanted to stay. So
you wanted to stay, didn't you? I mean, some people might have said, well, I'm out of here, but you had the desire to keep serving your country. And
that's correct.
My hat's off to you. So after that, you got your prosthesis and got a new lower leg, and you were just you still were out there working. And so now bring us up to date on how you got to be into the shooting part of this.
All right, then. Well, like I said, in 2009, I got sent back to the regular Army. They found me fit for duty.
Uh-huh.
And I was training privates out here on Fort Benning for about 2.5 years in mortar gunnery. And one day I was running around the track doing some PT, and one of the guys from the Army Marksmanship Unit here said, hey, we're looking for we're looking for some guys that fit the profile for the Paralympics, and that's, that are still able to stay in the Army, and that's pretty much relegates it to just below the knee amputees, and we'll give you a tryout if you like. And at that time, I didn't really want to change my job, but I said, I'll try it, and gave me a 6-week tryout, and I think I did a good job because I was picked up right away. And that first year, I had won a World Cup that very first year of shooting, which I don't think had happened before. So it was a really good thing for me. And then, of course, the unit, they were impressed, and so they put more time and effort with me. And I've been all over the world, like you said, shooting, and it's been a really good experience for me, and I'm getting a lot better at it, and I'm really happy to show the country off to the rest of the world how good we are here.
Well, we're talking to Sergeant John, Joss, and I'm having trouble with his name like he'd have trouble with mine. Josh. That's what it is.
That's
Josh.
correct. Yes,
that is it. And Sergeant John Joss. And I know that John, never in your wild life, I'm assuming you grew up in hometown of Corsicana, Texas. I think you're 32, if I'm not mistaken. And
yes,
grew up hunting and doing all these different kind of things. You must have had a gift to use that little rifle that you're using, right?
Well, I mean, being in Texas, that's one of the things that comes to you. It's like your second thing that you learn besides being trustworthy and honest is how to handle a rifle. So
yeah,
I mean, I think I had a leg up on the rest of the states at that point, but it worked out good for me, sir.
And John, I know that tell our listeners exactly the competition that you do, because I know what kind of rifle you shoot, and also the 10 meters and the 50 meters. I mean, you've and you also went on, if I'm not mistaken, went on a very strenuous, lost a lot of weight, did all these different kind of things to try to make yourself stronger. Is that right?
That's right. Yes, sir. Well, for international competition for the prone events, we have 2 events, and the 10-meter ISSF, as it was, the 10-meter event is the air rifle prone, and it's 10 meters, and the target on it, to shoot a 10, you need to hit basically the size of the period on a keyboard, that little dot right there.
Wow.
That's the size of the target you're trying to hit at 10 meters with iron sights.
Uh-huh. Wow.
And then the next event, 50-meter prone, is which is my better of the 2 events. It's of course at 50 meters. It's a 22 rifle. It's a really, really accurate, heavy barreled, precise 22 rifle, and the target, I believe, is around half the size of a dime at 50 meters with iron sights. And you're shooting subsonic bullets, so you have to really pay attention to the lighting conditions and the wind, and everything affects that little bullet on its way down there, so you got to be really paying attention. It's very, very difficult.
And you're using a new rifle.
I have been using a new Pardini air rifle.
Yeah.
That's correct. Changed over to a new air rifle, but I've been using the same Unschutz 50-meter rifle since I've been doing this.
Wow. And I've talked to some other shooters and everything. Now, how did you do in Sydney?
Well, I did well. I got second overall. I was second in the qualification and then second in the final, and I earned a quota berth for the Paralympics as well there.
So you are going to Rio, right?
I believe so. It's up to the committee to pick me.
You're
but I
going,
believe
man.
So.
You're going, okay? I mean, you can be modest about this, but you're going to Rio. I mean, it's time after you've been to all these other countries, a long way from Wichita Falls and Corsicana to Rio, John.
That's right.
And what's it about it? I mean, I've asked other people. You got to really. This is a mental game. What do you do when you're on the firing line, John, to try to block out everything?
Well, I'll be honest. I'm competitive.
Okay, I
probably
figured that.
more competitive than anyone you've ever met in your life. To the point that if I see you pick up a stick when we're walking and you throw it in the woods, I'm going to pick one up and I'm going to try to throw it further than you just because I can. And so when I'm laying down there and I'm shooting against the people from whether it's China or Korea or Germany or wherever they are, I just think back and I've trained harder, I've trained longer, I put more time into it than anybody else, and I ask myself, do you deserve to win this? And as long as I can answer myself, yes, I deserve this, I've put in the time, then I don't really have any problem shooting.
Wow. Okay, and I know the competitiveness. You went to Sydney to do well, didn't you? You actually were quoted as saying that you're going after it.
That's what I said. I really wanted to, and it was time for me to start showing again and shooting well again. I said, okay, when I get there, I'm gonna show them who's shooting again. So,
well, how much practice? I mean, what's a daily? I mean, how many times do you shoot?
Well, in the marksmanship unit here, Fort Benning, it's my job. So I come to work at around 7:30, and then by 8:00 I'm in the pro and shooting, and I shoot from 8 to noon normally. And then if I think I need to, we'll shoot later. We'll do finals training in the afternoon from 1 to 3 or
oh my gosh.
Or so. So it's at minimum a 4 to 5 hour day shooting every single day.
How many
except for the weekend. How many
shells?
Oh, between 200 and 300 at minimum, I would say.
A day. A day. Oh, wow. Okay. So, well, I know representing your country. What does that mean to you?
Well, that means a lot. This country is wonderful, and I've been to all the countries in the world, and they're fun to visit, and it's nice to see the people, but when you're on that plane ride back, that's when you start missing it the most, and it's just a great country and all the people in it, so I'm glad to be here.
Well, let me ask you one thing before we let you go, John. I know there had to be some dark moments for you. You're probably didn't think this would ever happen. If there are other young men out there, young women out there that have gone through what you're going through, what advice do you tell these people?
Well, sir, I was injured, and I was just happy to be alive. I didn't think that I would live through it, and nobody really thought that I'd live through it, and so I didn't have any hate in my heart for losing my limb. But there was people that are injured a lot worse than me, and some people rely on faith, some people rely on family. But the real thing is, as long as you're alive, there's always something that you can do to better yourself or to help others, and that's kind of how I look at things. Well, you've done well, and I know you got a lot of do people back in Corsicana and Wichita. You got family and things. They got to be proud of you too. Oh yeah, I've got family in Corsicana, and I still have some family in Wichita Falls, and everybody's rooting for me, and we're looking forward to it. Well, John, we appreciate you being on Outdoors with Larry Ray. And, folks, just Google John, Joss, and you'll find some remarkable things about this young man at 32 years old representing our country. He's going to Rio, and my hat's off to you. I know you had some guys that really paved the way, and when I saw you had Michael McPhail on your list there, he's been on this show before. You can't have a better person to try to model yourself after. So we're pulling for you, John, okay? Thank you, sir. Thank you for taking time to be with us on Outdoors with Larry Ray. You can go to lroutdoors.com, folks, and find out some information about John on there. And we'll stay in touch with you, and God bless you, and go after him. Okay, buddy? Thank you, sir. All right. Let's take a break on Outdoors with Larry Ray. Be right back, and we're going from shooting to catching fish. And I know Ron Wong can't wait to talk to this next guy on Outdoors with Larry Ray on ESPN 790.